Buenas tardes, mi amigos. All right. A lot of people wonder why I have been involved now with energy systems and trying to bring out the new energy systems for a new civilization on this planet. And many people don't see the connection between extraterrestrial intelligence, the Disclosure Project, and the OrionProject.org. And I want to just take a moment to make those connections. Because I think it's very, very important that people understand that these are three projects that I direct that are really all part of one strategy. Now, many of you know that the whole UFO question has been kept secret for more than 60 years. And there are a number of reasons why. Number one, in the early days, they didn't know what they were dealing with. Number two, there were reasons that were theological and religious. And some of those still continue for some people in the secret government. For example, there's a Jet Propulsion Lab scientist that I know, very senior, who told me very directly that there are structures, ancient structures, on Mars connected to a civilization that's connected to early human civilization on Earth. And he has confirmed this to me, and he said, but the reason that NASA will not disclose this sort of information is that it would collapse, and I'm quoting, collapse the foundations of all the orthodox religious belief systems on the planet. To which I said, bueno. But this is a problem in some sectors of the society. And so, for example, in America, 25% of the population believe literally the world is only 6,000 years old. 1 in 4 Americans. They think we rode dinosaurs with saddles. And there's a museum in Kentucky dedicated, a $26 million museum, dedicated to showing how children were riding the dinosaurs 6,000 years ago. So there are people who don't want to hear the truth about many things. So that has been one of the reasons. And I know it sounds insane to any educated person and probably to most people in Europe and Spain. But in America, 1 in 4 people believe that. They're like children. Yeah. N'est-ce pas? Yeah. Idiots. You know, like Sarah Palin and people like that. So, however, there is another reason. If they have been able to keep the UFO matter secret, they can provide a certain amount of information to the public and control it and spin it in a way that will be frightening. And by indoctrinating over a few decades the populace with fear, they hope to create a new enemy to unite the world around a military junta. So fear is the mind killer, and fear is the spirit killer, and this is they're hoping that this sort of midbrain of humans, where we have this fight or flight response, the primitive, muy primitivo, that this will cause people to give up their mind and their heart and their higher spiritual state and succumb to sort of a brave new world of conflict with these beings. And this is what Werner von Braun, who invented the rocket for Adolf Hitler, his spokeswoman for the last 5 years of his life, said in this Disclosure Project testimony that this is a long-term plan to hoax a threat from outer space. So that has been another large agenda. And by keeping it secret enough, but putting information out in small amounts that they can control, they are trying to do a long-term psychological warfare operation. I have a 1953 CIA document that explicitly talks about the psychological warfare value of this subject in this regard. So there's another reason. Now, the big reason. In 2009, from I would say, 60s until now, the big reason is because if we announce to the world that there are these things that I was showing earlier, flying around, that can be hovering, and then go 20,000 kilometers an hour instantly and make right-hand turns and disappear and reappear 40 miles away? Any scientist with an IQ greater than mud, dirt, is going to say, how are these things doing this? And when that question is asked, it shall be answered. And when it is answered, it means that the energy, propulsion, transportation, all of these technologies will be known. You cannot have a disclosure on the subject that we're being visited and that they've gone through interstellar space at multiples of the speed of light without opening up this other question of how. And since it's been studied, and it can be proven to be studied, in reverse engineering programs for at least 60 years, probably longer, that information will come out almost immediately. And when that comes out, guess what? It's a wonderful day for humanity, the 99.999% of us that do not own an oil field or an energy company or a power station. However, remember this little number. There are about, depending on the price of commodities, 400 trillion euros in derivatives, assets and commodities that are traded based on proven oil reserves, coal reserves, natural gas reserves. 400 trillion euros. This is a lot of chump change. This is a lot of walking around money for somebody, yeah. And that kind of money buys you a lot of corruption and a lot of influence. And there's one more thing, more important. The money isn't important. Because the money at that scale, money to me and to you is that, gee, I have a daughter at Yale, I have a daughter at Stanford, can I put them through college? Can I, feed my family while I'm doing this crazy stuff? Not been easy. But here's the question. For these people who have unlimited sources of funding, these are the people who print the money, the printing presses. No, really. The central bankers, the financial people, the petrodollar, the big energy, oil cartels. For them, it's more about maintaining their relative power in the world.